Welcome back, guys. So here we go. This is the aftermath of the last episode. These are all the lines that were affected. 17 lines affected, over 100 trains affected. And it was like untangling a very, very tangled ball of string. It was crazy. It actually took me, well, I spent 20 hours on it yesterday, and I must admit, I was having fun every minute. And a lot of it was sorting the trains out, but also I spent a lot of time just doing little changes here and there. I actually spent like a couple of hours just playing around with this, and this is much tidier now. This used to come out like round here, and we're not done. We're not done with this because, like, as soon as I look at this, it's like, you know what, this needs to be like tidied up now, and it needs to go out a little bit further before it gets brought in. I'll show you some of the changes I made to the track. There are some subtle changes in here, but this is how Biggleswade Freight is now. And I made a change to the grain line. The grain line used to go through these two centre tracks. It was just going straight through this station. It actually now stops at this station, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why in a minute. Let's get the first things done. So probably the first thing you're going to look at is this over here and go, hang on a second, you've got 4 trains sharing 2 platforms. Well, that's not good. Yeah, well, what I've done over here, Chudley Fuel and TF Ashby Big Goods, those 2 lines have gone away now. We can actually get rid of those, and I'll show you for why. If we look at Chudley Goods, we had Chudley Goods and Chudley Fuel, 2 lines coming in here. If you actually look at what's been going on with these lines, Chudley Goods was making like an okay profit, probably averaging maybe around 7 million a year, something like that. Nice, all good. Chudley Fuel, on the other hand, was doing nothing. I mean, like literally, like most of the time it wasn't carrying anything at all. So we can just get rid of that. I've switched. There were 3 vehicles on each. I've switched one of the vehicles over to Chudley Goods just to give it a little bit more capacity, and got rid of the other 2. So Chudley Fuel, that goes. And the same with the line that I put in to bring the goods over here. That's actually being carried by, I've combined them on Ashby Big Construction Materials and Goods. So the construction materials and the goods are now being carried on the same line. And if we look at this line's, like pretty much break even. This one has just been making a consistent loss. But if we combine the 2 lines, then this should actually start making a profit. So I thought that those were good changes. So let's get rid of those 2 lines. Let's go to our line manager, go down to here. Right, let's get rid of Chudley Fuel. Goodbye. And what was the other one? Ashby Big Goods. There we go. That one, goodbye. So now, when we go down here, we just got rid of 2 of the lines, which I didn't mean to. Let's go. We want Chudley Goods, and we want, what was the other one? That one. There we go. So now you can see the revised layout, and it's pretty cool. But we do still have 2 lines sharing a platform, and if I go to the terminals so you can see, we've got Eastbourne Fuel and Eastbourne Goods coming into this platform here. But we've got the same situation. If we actually look at the finances, this line, Eastbourne Goods, yeah, making a little profit, probably 2 to 3 million a year. And then Eastbourne Fuel, well, Eastbourne Fuel is consistently making a loss. So again, we want to combine those. So I thought we'd actually do that. I didn't want to close that. Yeah, I'm such a bonehead. I'm such a bonehead. What did I want? Eastbourne Fuel. There we go. So we're going to do that. Let's do that now. So what do I want to do? I want to go to the vehicles. We've got 2 trains running on there. We've got 2 trains running on there. I think what we'll do, and they're only small trains, Very small trains. We'll get rid of train 37. Let's see. Can I get rid of train 37? Where are you, train 37? You're headed down into there. That's probably not going to work. Where's train 63? You're coming into here. Well, I tell you what we could do potentially is put in a quick depot and get rid of you. Yeah, go on. Let's do that. So we'll throw in a quick depot down here. Now depots, we'll talk about I want to centralize the whole way depots works, but that's a whole different conversation. Let's just straighten you up a little bit. I probably should have done that with a high-speed track, but it actually doesn't matter. And let's get a depot, throw that on. Come on. There we go. So train 63, will you go to the depot and be sold? Yes, you will. Hooray. That's rather good news. And then we want to move these two trains, the Jerry Garcia and train 37, over to Eastbourne Goods. So let's come over here. We want you to move to Eastbourne Goods. Where the hell? There we go. And you to move over to Eastbourne Goods. Then we can get rid. TF Big Eastbourne Fuel. You can go away. Boom. Sweet. Now all we need to do is change these trains. The configuration of the consist. So should we just like freaking start again? Let's just start again with these. Let's get rid of these. Now we'll be talking about consists in a minute. For now, I'm just going to put something pretty bland on here. I'm just going to put BR Blue, and I'm just doing this to. I've got a whole bunch of new wagons. I'm just doing this just for speed because there's so much to freaking get through. Do I want some of those? No, I'll show you what I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in one of those, one of those, and then I'm going to top you off with one of those, a couple of those. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a 240 station at the other end, so I'm not going to go crazy. Let's have, where are we? Another one of those. One of those. Probably can't afford that. That's okay. Let's put in just another engine at the other end. What were we putting in? I was putting in those BR Blues, wasn't I? Here we go. BR Blue. Add. And turn and replace. Replace now. Yes, please. Right. So that's sorted out the Eastbourne trains. Holy. Okay, so a final look at this. So this is what the final thing is. And all I've got to do is open up Eastbourne Goods again. There we go, because I keep closing it down. So that is how the platforms work. And you can see I've added in a transit track here for the oil. So the oil trains come straight through, but then on the way back they stop at this platform. And that all works out nice. We've actually got one spare platform. If we look at the... look at that. How freaking cool is that? That works out really nicely. Now I'm going to do a whole thing over here with some truck freight yards, but that's again a conversation for another time. Let's move over here to the other big freight station. This is how this one worked out. So if I bring up the terminals so you can see, and it just works out pretty sweet. We've actually got 2 spare platforms, so I could actually condense this, but I think we'll leave it as 8 platforms. But I might move some stuff around to make stuff a little bit easier. See, like you can instantly see that this line going up here, the plastics line, right? Well, that could actually be moved over to say platform 2. So Ashby Plastic and Goods could be moved over to platform 2, which would then probably make life maybe a tiny bit easier. Yeah, I don't. Well, actually, no. I mean, it's pretty smooth as it is, so no worries. yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Once you look at this, like when you can see it from like a bird's eye view and everything's organised and sorted out and whatever, then you can start to see that I can make some more improvements. For example, if I curve this platform round a little bit, so this is curving around here, I can actually cut this bend and make this a lot smoother coming into here, and then tighten this up. But these are changes. Now that I've got the whole thing sorted out, now I can start making these kind of fine detail changes. I've been making some changes. I had to do like so much freaking signaling, it's untrue. And the signaling around Biggleswade is fairly complex. And it's made more complex by the fact that this is all obviously temporary, right? All of everything to the right of the station is temporary. All these lines, because obviously we're going to be routing them up the left side of the Chudley Valley. So all of this is going to change, and like I had to cross these lines over and also, but all of that's going to get untangled, and there is actually the potential. It won't happen, but there is the potential for this to get stuck here. But yeah, that like I said, once this all gets redeveloped, all of those problems go away. There's just one tiny problem out of this whole like mess. It is a bag of cats. It really is. Yeah. So trains. Let's talk trains for a second. Do we want to talk trains now, or do we want to get it going? I tell you what, let's get it going. Before we get it going, I'll just show you the production. So this is the production, like at the time that we made the changes. So it hasn't run on at all since I ripped everything out. So if we look down here, I mean, most of it is 1600 and the bulk of it's over 1000. If we look down here, the lowest performing, I know that I've got a bit of an issue with Chixby construction materials, and it's Ashton-on-the-Lyme Quarry is feeding that. So those are down at like 300. Everything else, Sedberg Forest is over the other side, so it kind of doesn't matter. Chudley Chemical Plant, that's this one up here, is only running at about 500. We look at the charts. It's been pretty consistent about that 500 level for quite a while. That's the steel mill on the other side. Oh, here we go. The Biggleswade iron mine, the coal mine that are feeding the Chudley. No, the Wellington steel mill, which is that one. Yeah, they're struggling to get up to 1000, but everything else is kind of over 1000. So that's the situation as it was. The only thing that's complaining at the moment is the Ashby construction materials, and that's because we've like ripped out the line that was taking the products away, so it doesn't like that. Okay, should we get this going? Let's get this going. Let's get rid of all of this. And now we've got like new trains going onto the tracks and stuff. So over here we're feeding in a bunch of trains, because remember I deleted or sold all of those trains that were over here. So, and there's a bunch of trains stacked up here. So it's gonna be interesting watching this stuff unravel. Should we, you know what, let's crank it up. I think this is probably the most interesting area. Biggleswade is staggeringly busy. We'll go and look at that in a bit. But this is just a whole mess of trains that need to unravel themselves. So we'll have a little look at this while things unravel. So we've got the new trains coming out. These are the Silver Branch, the logging trains going down there. Now they switch over to another track there. So this is actually quite complicated, and I had to make sure that my signals were properly sorted out. So for example, we don't have a signal there, and the reason we don't have a signal on this track is because these trains need to clear this entire section. So we need to make sure this entire section is clear before one of these trains pulls out. Otherwise it would jam up. So there's quite a lot has gone into this to make sure that everything runs properly. Now, obviously, it's going to take a little while for all the trains to sort themselves out and space out and get organised and whatever. But once they do, oh my goodness, it's kind of awesome. Now, what the hell has happened there? Okay. Just a temporary little hiccup. Like I said, it'll take time for the trains to space out and whatever because they're all grouped up. What we're looking for is just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Now, I did have some comments from a couple of people saying, "Oh my God, this idea of reducing the amount of tracks and whatever, it's going to be horrible. There's going to be all kinds of trains waiting and whatever." No, there aren't. No, there aren't. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of this is to have this running very, very smoothly. Now, as long as we can just get through this initial sorting the trains out, everything should be pretty freaking sweet, actually. But we've got a bunch of logging trains here that need to get released, and we've got rid of all the trains, all the new trains. They're all onto the tracks now. But you can see all these logging trains backing up. But it's starting to work now. Loving it. All right, cool. We'll come back to that. Let's go and take a look at Biggleswade Freight. Let's get rid of those icons for now. So, how does this all work? And the answer is, it works freaking beautifully, but my God, it's busy. Like, unbelievably freaking busy. Now, I've spent a fair amount of time watching this, as you can imagine. And one thing that struck me is that we need to start creating more variation in the consists. So I went and got a bunch more mods. I've been picking up so many new mods recently, primarily to get new wagons so that we can start to vary the consists around. So for example, if we go over here, I picked up a new 66-foot gondola, and this line, this is the construction materials and slag. So we're bringing slag down here. This is the construction material. Oh, that's the quarry. The construction materials factory's over there. So we're taking the slag and the stone down, converting it to construction materials, bringing it back. Then it goes onto these trains. If I jump on board here for a second. So these are these 66-foot gondolas. Let's slow it down a little bit so you can actually see stuff properly. And they're in two colours. I might actually just pause this so we can zoom in and take a look. And I really like this. I like the fact that we see the construction materials, like a different representation of the construction materials, and they're just really nice. So I wanted to get more of that and try and get more interesting stuff that visually just provides a little bit more eye candy. So down here, this is the steel. This is Wellington steel, isn't it? I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, Wellington steel. And it's the Chudley steel line because we're going up to the Chudley steel mill. I want to make these trains a lot more interesting because right now it's just a whole load of state cars and it's really boring. So we're gonna change this to get rid of all these boring state cars. What we're gonna do is I'm still gonna run it with the same train, which is one of these. Where are you? One of these 182 DBs, Deutsche Bahn trains. So we'll have one of those, but we're going to have completely different consist. I've picked up these, which are just awesome. These carry hot rolled steel coils. So we'll have like 1, 2, 3. Let's have like 4 of those at the beginning of the consist. Then I've got these SAMS 489s, which are state cars, but they're slightly different, and they carry again a different model to these type of state cars. So let's have like 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Then we'll have some regular state cars. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, and then now I could throw some of these. Where are they? The 66-foot gondolas on, but nah. I'm not going to. I'm just going to finish it. We're to 209. I might have one more state car then. One more state car, and then finish it off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. And then we want our locomotive. Boom. There we go. That is our new consist. On. Replace now. Yes, please. Right. Go. Now, I don't know. I don't think this one will replace. No. So let's crank it up. So you can see, like, I do like these. They're kind of nice, but it's just kind of boring. Right. So we'll change it up. Where's the next steel train? Come on, steel trains. That's an iron train there. Where's the next damn steel train? God, so much flying around. That's a goods train. Where the hell's the next steel train? I probably missed it. Oh, here we go. I missed it. Look at this. Let's slow it down so you can see it loading up. So you can see that now we've got 3 different types of steel. We've got these rolled coils. We've got these, which are just like, I don't know. I mean, I suppose girders or just like huge ingots. And then we've got these are the old state cars where these are girders, but obviously on a much smaller scale. So it just makes the trains, I don't know what you think. I'm fairly sure that you will think, yeah, that makes the trains like a lot more freaking interesting to look at when they've got like different types of cargo. I mean, that's an interesting train. So there's going to be a lot more of that going on, providing us with a lot more eye candy. So, Skye candy, I should say. Skye candy. All right, guys. Let's go down here. We'll have another quick whiz on this. Okay, so the plastics. I need to explain to you what's going on with the plastics because it's complicated. And when I first spotted it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a huge problem. But in actual fact, it's not, which is like a great relief. And when I finally unraveled it and figured it all out, there was much rejoicing, let me tell you. I love this freaking station, by the way. I am going to ooh and ah about this station because just watching the trains run through is incredible. It's so staggeringly busy. There's a new train with the new consist. Look at that. But the trains just fly in and out. This never-ending dance. And it is seriously complex. But it runs beautifully. I mean, it really does run beautifully. So I can do a whole truck yard here. It's going to involve multiple. Okay. I hate the fact that we've got like a whole load of the same truck, and we've got like way too many of them for visuals, and it just I just don't like it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use multiple truck stations. I'm talking probably for this. Probably like maybe 6, and I'm going to have a whole warehouse district in here that I'm going to create, a whole Skye Candy thing, and then there's going to be multiple lines, multiple roads going out here, and there's probably going to be, it kind of depends where my patience runs out, but somewhere between like 6 and 12 lines so that we can have like, you know, between 6 and 12 different types of truck taking the goods into the city. And I'm going to have like lots of delivery points within the city, so we'll spread stuff out. And because of that, I've got a whole bunch of new trucks that we can use. Let's take a look. I need a depot. There's a depot. So let's whiz down to the bottom and you'll see. So I've got, I think there are like 5 or 6 different sets, and each one has like 6 or 7 different trucks. I've got the English set, which is this, which has got Argos, Asda, B&M, whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that is. Eddie Stobart, British Airways, the Royal Mail, and Tesco's. And then we've got this, which is the Swiss set, which is my personal favourite, which has got 2 lots of... it's got Carlsberg, Feldschlossen. These are beautiful, these trucks. I mean, seriously beautiful. Wait till you see these. Co-op and whatever. Actually, is that the... No, that is the Swiss set. I was looking for Migros. Is that the Migros? Oh, there's the Migros one. There's the Migros one. And then I picked up the German set as well, which is like Feige and DHL and DB Schenker. Yeah, and I want a nice mix of these trucks. So, because like at the moment, it just... I mean, I've got 2 lines, so at least we've got 2 types of truck. But, nah. And the other thing about those trucks, regular 40-ton trucks carry 20. They've got a capacity of 20. These trucks have a capacity of 40. Now these ones here that I'm using here, these carry 36. Where's a regular 40-ton truck? There's a regular 40-ton truck that carries 20. These ones, now that carries everything. These ones are 36, like this DP Schenker. Right. The problem is they don't carry certain things. They won't carry things like I don't know, but the stuff that they won't carry anyway. Like they won't carry stone, for example. Whereas these trucks down here, they will carry everything. They've got 4 compartments, and they carry 40. So what this means is we're going to be able to use like less trucks. You know, I want trucks running around, but what I don't want is a freaking convoy of all the same truck like we've got now, because I just don't think it looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some rows of buildings in here, and just have like individual little stations, like maybe around 6 of them, and make a whole thing. So that's that. What else? What else? Yeah, now let's talk about the plastics. Okay, so I'm gonna slow this down while I do this, and we'll turn on that, and we'll turn on that. Okay, so the first thing when I turned it on, the first thing I noticed and realised was that this oil refinery is producing both fuel and refined oil. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's going to be a nightmare. And then I was like, well, I suppose what I could do is, I don't know, like, I could truck the oil down to the factory and set the trucks to only carry oil and whatever. But then I realised that it's much more complicated than that. We're creating plastic here. Let's pause this. You'll see that whilst most of the plastic is going on the big crude oil plastic line, which takes it over there to the goods factory, some of it is going onto the Chudley goods line. And that's because it's being taken up here to be used by this machine factory, which uses plastic, even though it's got this factory giving it plastic. And when it was only when I looked at this and I suddenly thought, hang on a second, I think we're going to be okay. This plastic, this chemical plant is actually stealing oil. You can see here that oil from that refinery over there is being shipped up here and used by this, right? So again, you might think, oh, it's all a disaster. Well, actually, it's not, because I don't mind the plastic being swapped around between these, and I've got no problem with the oil being used by this one as opposed to this one. What I've done is the Chudley grain line that is bringing grain up from this factory. You can just see it. This factory here. This farm, I should say. Factory. This farm. Click on it. Here we go. So Wellington Grain Farm. This is producing grain. We're bringing that grain up here to the plastics factory and turning it into plastic, right? But I thought, hang on a second. Why don't I just get the grain train to stop here? That's why I've got it stopping while the steel train is using the transit tracks. So now this is being fed with grain as well as oil. So no problem. So, you know, this one steals some grain that was going to this one. This steals some oil that was going to this one. We produce a bunch of plastic. Some of it goes to this factory and the rest goes to the goods factory over here. And actually, it all works out, which is kind of beautiful. The only problem is we're still effectively losing some of our oil production because it's being turned into fuel. Well, even that's not a problem, because if we need more grain, we've actually got a spare farm over here. And to get that working, all I've got to do is literally put in a couple of truck stations. In fact, like one truck station over here, and just get it delivering the grain over to this station, and it all works. I might have to play around with the capacity to get it, like if I'm bringing in a lot more grain. But overall, the whole thing works and is kind of beautiful. So that's that. What else? Good grief, Charlie Brown. What else do I need to tell you about? You know, that might be it. Is it? Is it? Yeah, I think that's it. So the next job is obviously to sort out all of this garbage over here and have a nice line running through here. There's gonna be a lot of refinements. I'm gonna, now that it's all sorted out and running and I know everything's okay, this area here is definitely going to be worked on to make this just like awesome and beautiful. And I've got some cool ideas for what to do there. There's gonna be some rework probably on this end of this track. So from here, this part of the track and this area here. But now it's just minor refinements. So, you know, bend this station round, have this track coming round here, and then it's like, okay, well, do I want to maybe raise the terrain here slightly so that we're going around the edge of a hill and stuff like that. So it's just making like the final refinements prior to the ultimate decoration. And the same with this here. Now I've actually got it in and made it work. It's like, actually, you know what? Do I want this to come out a little bit further and have a curve and go maybe down, like if I can get it to go down a little bit steeper, and then actually just run along the edge of the coast a little bit, because then instead of just going straight up the cliff and not really seeing that much, we could have a little detour along the river a little bit before we start to curve up, and then we get to see the nice view of the river. So that's the kind of stuff that I've been thinking about. God, what else? I told you about the changes I might make to the logging camp. Okay, there are a couple of other things that I want to get going. We have got stone over here. We've got stone there. We've got stone there. 2 stone quarries. The first thing is I want to steal an idea. Somebody sent me some pictures of stuff that he's been working on, a guy called Green Fours. And he's got some really nice ideas for quarries, how to simulate quarries. So I'm going to steal his ideas and I'm going to do a quarry thing. Now, the problem with this one is that this view, because we're right over by the edge of the map, is kind of horrible. So I'm not going to use that one. I think that one will get taken out. This one, on the other hand, gives me kind of a nice area where I could do some quarry stuff. So I think what we're going to have is this is going to get used And where's the... Oh, here it is. And we'll get this construction materials plant working, which means that when I move all of this stuff over, I can put a station in here. I can put a station... Well, I've already put a temporary station in here. And then we can run the lines up here. And then you think, well, okay, yeah, no problem. We can either truck or train the stone into a freight yard. And if I move the freight yard like over here, in fact, if I have the freight yard oriented this way, right, then the train can come down here, pull into the freight yard. It can probably be connected to the stone, short truck ride into the city for to supply Eastbourne, and then we've got stone running through, which of course then means that we've got nice open, either open wagons or open hoppers to transfer stone up to there, produce more construction materials. We're already on the network to distribute it, and it's all going to be kind of nice and sweet. And this is something that I'm going to be able to do. Like once I go through this process over like the whole map, we're going to be able to add extra stuff in to get extra kinds of trains running around. There is another food processing plant down here, and JTN 2002 wanted me to name a food processing plant JTN Cuban sandwiches. I will get to it eventually, JTN. I promise. Like at some point, I'll try and get that done. We've also got another sawmill up here. The problem is trying to find a forest that I could actually supply it from. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to get used. But I mean, there's one down here as well that I'd love to use. And again, because of the setup now, it's pretty easy to hook these things up to these kind of main lines that we've got now. So there you go. That's how things are going to evolve. Would it be nice to actually build something in this episode? I think it would, but I think it would also be kind of nice to at least have a couple of like little short rides. So I really want to ride on one of these new steel trains. Where is one of my new steel trains? Here's one of my new steel trains. Let's have a little ride on this, because let's face it. I mean, it's all about the eye candy at the end of the day. So let's. Isn't that cool? With the it's really cool until you can't see it because there's a freaking bridge in the way. That is such a cool looking consist, isn't it? And I think this is what you guys want to see. And I think this episode has combined like a whole bunch of things in terms of the products of revamping this network. Some of you are interested in just the sheer looks of it. And let's face it, why shouldn't you? Because I love the whole looks of it. I mean, this is why I like playing with trains. I like riding on trains and seeing the trains running around and all that kind of stuff. But also, some of you are just interested in like the logistics of it, right? Well, I think this has definitely improved the whole logistics. Look at all the different freaking trains running around. It's awesome. Love it. What are we waiting for here? Come on, move, damn it. This is the express line. What? Actually, that's a good point. Why are we waiting here? Because we should. We should fly straight through here. There's no trains there. It's like there's nothing. Oh, that's what we're waiting for. We were waiting for one of those to come through. That's fine. That's the way it should work. No, it's just me. That's the way it should work. Now we'll get on our merry way. Now that, by the way, that hold up should get, well, I won't say it'll go away entirely, but it should go away like 90% when we do the other side, because I won't go into it, but it's a mess over there, and it does get slightly held up. But once we get the proper version in, it'll be completely sweet. I mean, look at the place. It's awesome. I'm serious. I am like a kid in a candy shop with all this stuff now. It's beautiful. This is all temporary. This is all temporary over here. So there's no point looking at it. It's all temporary. What else? Let's have a little bit, I guess, of a ride over here, maybe. Maybe jump on a plastics train. Yeah. Not really interested in how the plastic trains look because they're pretty uninteresting. But we'll whiz down here, go into first person, and we'll just have a quick ride through the station. You know, I was going to do a bit of building in this episode, but I think rather than rush some building, I think maybe we will just have a little bit of a look around. There are still a couple of things that I can show you and tell you about, and I think it's worth it. Here we go. Pick up a whole load of plastic. Awesome. Let's switch on some icons again. Well, no, I've got that on already. So as you can see, this station is catering very easily with what's going on. Let's crank it up so you can actually see just how freaking crazy busy these stations are. Just crazy, crazy busy. I know some of you would like just like seeing this kind of thing. So I'm trying to cater for everybody. I'm trying to like show all the logistics and the efficiencies, but also just to see all the different trains running around. And it's going to get, the thing is, I think this is just the beginning. This is going to get better and better and better. I'm going to introduce more trains, more different types of wagons, get more raw materials running around on, like, mixed in on the same lines with the general goods. And it is kind of awesome to see all the different routes mixing together. See, we've got that lumber route just flying through, mixed in with all the kind of the general goods, and then we've got the slag line over there. And it just makes the stations just like so much more interesting when you've got all the raw materials mixed in with all the general goods. And I love the fact that the stations, they just never stop. There's just always trains, just all the time. Alright, cool. Let's go and have another little look over here. What I was going to do a quick bit of eye candy decoration over here. But yeah, I'll do it as part of a time lapse in the next episode, I think. If I can get to it. It kind of depends how the whole Chudley Valley redevelopment goes, because that's going to be, some of this is going to be very, very difficult. You can see, like, this is maximum elevation going up here. And then ideally I would like a flat station, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to angle it. And then we've got another big elevation change up to here. But we can trim that down a little bit, because this level here, this is going to be the highest point. So we'll be chopping this bit of terrain off. So yeah, we'll peak at this point. The question is, like, well, you can see there's no way we'll get that elevated up to there. So this station is going to have to be sloped. I was hoping not to do that, but yeah, I don't think there's any freaking way we'd get a track up there that quickly. So what else is going on? Oh, I suppose right at the end, we should wrap up with a look at the production, shouldn't we? Oh, I tell you what we'll do. I'll let it run on for a bit. Shall I let it run on for a bit? Yeah, I'll let it run on for a bit, and then we'll take a look at the production and see how the production's gone. I'll let it run on for, I don't know, like a couple of years or something, and then we'll take a look after everything's had time to kind of even out, and we'll see what it looks like. So, 5 years later, what's the deal? And the deal is pretty damn freaking good. Everything's doing just like pretty darn great. Yeah. I'm kind of shocked. It's doing really good. Everything is kind of climbing. I did put one extra train on Chudley steel and one extra train on Chudley grain, just to make sure that the grain and steel are moving nicely, and that seems to be helping out quite significantly. I'm looking for various things, but it's kind of hard to find in the list. Let's see, how are we doing at Chudley grain? Let's see, we are, Wellington Farm is running at 1600. That is maxed out, and that's been maxed out for a little while. And are we keeping the grain under control? Yes, we are. Oh. Clearing it out. Nice job. How are we doing with the steel? Yeah, looks like we're keeping the steel under control as well. That's really nice. What's the production? Around 800. Let's just have a look at the charts. Yeah, we've been getting up to max production at the steel mill. That is awesome sauce. I think we were just waiting on some coal, I think. Yeah, we've got over 1,000 potential for the product. Awesome. Yeah, here we go. It's climbing back up again. Another load of steel heading out. And I'm going to have a look at this because I love these consists so much. Oh, that is so awesome. All right, so basically, I think we can say that changing the routes and everything has been beneficial. Like pretty much every way you look at it, like logistically, you know, efficiency, and certainly from a looks perspective, it's so much better. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there for this episode. Next episode, we get back to the building in a big way. Redevelopment of the Chudley Valley, and I think I'm thinking some Biggleswade Skye candy going on. What do you think? Guys, leave me a comment. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you for the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.